thought I would shock you today because Nikki Goldstein here is a sexologist. What a shame Paul's not here to video us today.
You're walking just as we're talking about something really
interesting.
I
know, because you know what we've got here in front of us? You can't see it, but we have got 50 Shades of Grey merchandise. Whoever knew? Nikki's not selling this or anything, so this isn't like an infomercial.
No.
This is us just being fascinated.
Take step one, you insert this.
Can you believe now? Are we allowed to show this on YouTube?
We're allowed to show this because it's officially launched in Australia.
And are we allowed to show it on YouTube? Are they going to black ban me now for showing
things?
We can
show it on YouTube because we're not showing anything that's too graphic or that's too, you know.
Who's read 50 Shades of Grey out there?
I think most people. Both of my parents have read it.
Like, my mother has too. You should probably kill me for telling
I told everyone on the morning show that my mother was reading it.
I think everyone has. I think all modern women are reading it.
But it's the intrigue. It's like everyone has read it. The entire world is talking about it. Mainstream media are talking about it. So people want to know what everyone else is discussing.
I want to know how many men have read it out there. Will you let me know?
A poll.
Yeah, I want to know. Because, like, to be honest, I didn't find it that exciting.
Well, I think it depends on your life experiences.
Yes, exactly, everybody. No, but what I thought was, like, it wasn't like I had never read that sort of stuff before.
Well, it's nothing new.
Whereas I think some people have never read that stuff.
Yeah.
Do you?
Well, I think the content of the book is nothing new. You know, it's erotica, it is you know, mummy porn, it's softcore porn. But the thing
I just kept going to the good bits.
Because that's what I did. You Google searched it and you flipped
I got sick of all the in-between things. I just wanted to read the good stuff.
But the thing is with it is that because it hit mainstream and I think because it became socially acceptable to be having the book in public. I mean, you wouldn't exactly take a book that had the word vagina or sex or threesome and read it on a park bench next to someone else. But you could very easily take that word and have the book and no one would judge you for it.
And people were reading it on the beach. Like, I don't know that I would be reading it on the beach because wouldn't you want to act upon it if you... Like,
I would think, well... I think it's
my sort of beach reading. I think it's bedtime reading too.
But, each to their own.
Who read it on the beach out there? I've got lots of questions I want to know from everyone.
Well...
Are we going to show them some stuff? We'll show them some tame stuff. Look at this. This one
freaks. That's not tame.
This isn't tame, but this freaks me out, everybody.
That's the first thing that you pick up. That's a riding crop.
I picked this up because it freaks me out the most.
That one stings.
I don't want to be hit. I don't.
Well, there are some people out there who want to be dominated. And no. I've had people chase me around during demos and they're like, we'll demonstrate on you. And I say, no, leave me alone.
But some people do like this, apparently.
But the rule is with anything like this, that if you're ever going to experiment with whipping a partner, you have to test it on yourself first. Because there was an incident last night.
So you go, dang.
Oh, it does. So if you know how that feels, would you then do it on somebody else?
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing, is that you need to understand what pain that you might be delivering, because it is a bit of a safety.
But Christian Grey liked that, didn't he?
Exactly.
He liked all these
things. This is the thing, we say don't yuck someone else's yum. So everyone has a specific taste in the bedroom. This one's a little bit softer. So it's a spanking tool, but it's a little bit more...
It doesn't hurt that one, actually. It's almost a little bit padded.
Well, that's what I like. Like if you're going to experiment, there used to be a whip somewhere. I'm not sure where we've got another.
How old are you?
Call it 27.
So she's 27. I'm 46. We're nearly. I could be your mother. That's ridiculous. And here we are talking about sexual things.
I talk about sex with my mother now. I think it's one of the most amazing things about the job is because at the end of the day, my mother knows me best and she's the one that really looks out for me. So I can get on the phone to her and say, "True, Mum, I'm having these problems," and that's the way it should be. There's nothing to be embarrassed about.
And do you talk to your girlfriends about sex? Like, do you talk in depth about, like, do you go, "Oh, he did that, and then I did this"? Do you do that?
Only if that's where they're comfortable with. I will never volunteer.
See, I don't do that.
But see, I think it's good if you have a girlfriend that you're close to be able to talk about it, because it's good to have a sounding board sometimes.
I've never had that.
But I think, women en masse is very good because we all learn something from each other. And I think a lot of behaviours are normalised. Like when I get a group of women together with a seminar or something like that, if one woman has a question and there might be 10 others in the group that also have that question, sometimes just having that open in the air, they kind of feel like a weight's lifted off their shoulders. And they're like, I'm not
the Sex in the City girls.
Exactly. And a little light bulb goes off and you think, oh, I'm not such a freak in the bedroom. I'm not so crazy. That happens to me too. So it's one of those balances though, because you don't want to ever come across someone's boundaries.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
It is, because you don't ever want to be sometimes too sexual with someone that you've just had a new friendship with.
Here I am being sexual with all my YouTube friends who know me for happiness and positivity.
Well, this is
but it is happiness and positivity. That's right. A good sex life is important.
Exactly. But it's good to not have internal conflicts. It's good that you work out what you want on the inside and how that fits into your life, and making sure that you're not feeling guilty about anything sexual that you're doing, because that's when we internalize things and it can really play havoc on ourselves and our relationships.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So what else should we look at here? There's little blindfolds.
I like the little bullets because I think these are cute. What does it say?
It's got words on it,
everyone.
We
aim to please. So, are we allowed to say the word clitoral?
Yes, we can. We've said everything else. We've shown lips. We might as well.
These are what they call a clitoral stimulator. I feel that. So it's little, it's discreet.
Yeah.
I think, if you want to bring something home, especially into a partner relationship.
It's not noisy, everybody.
You can just hear it. But that's kind of cute to bring home if you've got a partner who's a little bit reluctant about putting anything sex toy related in. If you go and bring home some phallic-like object, your man's likely to go,
I can do better than that. Actually, I've got a really funny story. Should I share it?
Now that we should, I think you should.
Should I share it?
I think you should.
It's a very funny story. I'm just thinking of the age group of my viewers.
If you're under 18, tune off now.
Yes. It's not that bad actually, but it was funny because we were out at dinner and we were with another couple and we were talking about vibrators and at a sex shop and all that sort of stuff. And so we'd all had a few drinks, and after dinner we went into this sex shop. It was really funny. So I went up to this girlfriend.
Dessert, dessert.
This is years ago now. And we went up and I said to my girlfriend, oh look, you should get one of these. And the husband came up and said, I'm going to call her Claire, just for the sake of this. Her name's not Claire. But he said, we don't need that, Claire.
Oh.
It was so hilarious. It really cracked me up. He said, we don't need that, Claire. As if he could do what this little thing can do.
But that's a common belief with men. And it's not to say that we need something to replace them or they're not good enough. But it's like saying, if I could give you this pill to make you happier, would you take it?
Yeah.
It's just looking at, we've got this much pleasure, but we can also have a little bit more fun.
Yeah, why not?
And then when we look at the fact that this isn't about procreation, this is about sexual pleasure.
Yeah.
And everyone's designed differently. So sometimes we might need certain things to get us over the edge. And my favourite stat is that 80% of women have clitoral orgasms. A penis doesn't exactly hit the clitoris.
No, and nor can it move as fast as that.
Exactly. And if you can, please call me.
Yeah.
I'm in the market for a boyfriend with a vibrating penis.
So I think we might leave out that one. I think I might shock people if I show that.
What about the silk ties?
Yeah, see, that
now,
could be
I
fun.
love these because I had this woman once come up to me when I was doing a seminar. And she said, I tried to tie my partner up with the ropes.
Yeah.
And she goes, it just went horribly wrong and we ended up pissing ourselves laughing.
And that sort of breaks the whole mood, doesn't it?
It's not sick, it's still fun.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things, those ropes are very hard to do.
Yeah.
So these ones have the silk ties, which I love. And these are pretty.
They are pretty. And they've just got what's those called? The D-rings.
The D-rings, shackles.
Yeah, see, that would not hurt, would it?
No, and this is just a way to get the idea of being restrained and dominated.
And you could probably get out if you wanted to.
Oh yes, and we should always have a safe word.
A safe word?
A safe word.
What's your safe word? I've never had to use a safe word.
I've never had to use a safe word. I think I have a pretty good look.
Yeah, stop it.
Get off me now. I think my safe word's more like a rude word.
Yeah. They might mistake that.
Exactly. But I think things like these are really pretty, and this comes in a little pack too where you can get the restraints and the blindfold. So, maybe for a Christmas idea, if your missus has read 50 Shades of Grey, don't go buying her some
Do you think it's a good idea for the men to buy it for the woman, or do you think that the women should buy it and bring it home and say, hey, hun, I'd like to try this?
It depends on the situation, because I often think that sometimes it's good to discuss these things together, because if you have one partner that's a little bit reluctant and you come home and say, this is what we're doing tonight, or this is what I've got, without seeing where their headspace is at first, you could push their boundaries.
And sometimes what you read, everybody, might not necessarily be what you want to do yourself. Like we all, read about, what's his name? Christian Grey giving a bit of a whipping. And that might be exciting to read, but do you want to see? Yes. Do you want to do it? No, I don't actually.
That's the biggest thing with the book, is that the fantasy doesn't have to be reality.
That's right.
And it's just because you might get turned on by the book or you get excited.
Do you think men get that mixed up?
I think so, because we're taught in life to live our fantasies.
So men that are watching, suss that out with your girl. Don't just come home and bring home a bloody riding crop.
Chase her around the house.
Because she might not like that.
Honey, I'm home. But something small. I think even a little blindfold. This is the
I
blindfold
like the little blindfold. Yes.
Because what I like with these things is it's good to sometimes take away a sensation.
Yeah.
And you could double up this with like a little feather tickler or even a sensual massage.
Do we have the feather tickler? I saw that in the brochure.
We do.
I'll find it in the brochure.
It exists somewhere.
It was just like a stick with feathers on the end,
really. But it's just anything.
Yeah. It looks a bit like a feather duster.
There's
a whole new use for that.
But I like...
You show them that. I'm checking that the video is still recording.
Okay, well, should I demonstrate on myself?
Yes.
I like this one because it molds to the face.
That's looking good.
Well, here we go.
I'm probably going to get a whole new weird audience now after this video. You know, it'll be called like 50 Shades of Grey, and people will be going, oh, and I'll get away with really weird.
Is that you?
And can you see under there?
No, I can't. And the thing is, this molds to the face quite nicely.
So if you put that one on, I'll put this one on.
Now, where's that?
So you prefer that one, don't you?
I prefer this one because I don't like anything too tight.
Probably looks a bit more sexy. This looks a bit like when you get on the plane, doesn't it?
I should wear this on the plane next time I travel.
You might meet a new stranger.
Oh. It's my new sleeping mask. But I like, you know, if you have read the book and you want to try something from the book, something like this is really easy. Because you're not really going to push any boundaries.
And you're not going to freak out.
I mean, you're not going to... There are some handcuffs around here. Do you know, I think these are actually illegal.
What?
Yeah, you're not supposed to be having handcuffs out in public because it's, I think, a weapon. I remember in Surfers Paradise years ago, someone was actually arrested. They were walking down the street with fluffy handcuffs.
With fluffy handcuffs?
Yeah.
Wait, I reckon the policeman wanted to make the deal.
Yeah, here we go. This could be your new...
this could be my new job. Louis Vuitton or someone did a line with handcuffs and stuff this year.
I need those.
Yeah. Yes.
Here we go. Okay, so you'll be taking orders for handcuff-style jewellery.
I could bead these or sequin them or something.
There you go.
And are they easy to get off? Yes.
Yes.
And can you lock them if you want it? Yes.
You can, but I'm pretty sure that these are a universal kit.
Okay. The camera always turns off at 10 minutes, so we know we've done a long video now.
Shut up, you're talking too much.
But no, the sessions was good. I enjoyed that a lot.
I haven't seen that.
It's very good. And no, the other one was with that. Who's that guy from The Office? What's his name? And there's like this older couple, and they're on.
Oh, Meryl Streep and what's his name?
What was that called?
Not Hope Floats or something.
Something like that.
Something funny name.
It was awesome. Whatever that was called.
I haven't seen that one.
You have to see that because it's about a sex therapist advising, and the husband goes along and they both, you know, you could see both points of view when they were talking about different things, and you thought, oh, I know what he's saying there, or she's saying that, and you go, oh, and everyone has this stuff that they bring into it, and when I watched that, and he brought them back together, it was very good.
Yeah, I'll have to look. I was too busy watching Magic Mike on the plane.
Oh, did you like Magic Mike? I did not like Magic Mike.
I didn't like it. I looked at it and I thought,
I love him too. I love
Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
His bottom is very cute.
Yeah.
But there was no real, like, I mean, I've worked with male strippers and, you know, they're very interesting characters, and I thought you could have gone so much more.
I didn't get into that movie.
I think it was more, not the tits and ass, it was more the abs and ass movie. So
it was. I don't know. I think he's looked better. Like
Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Him. I didn't like Matthew McConaughey. I thought,
that was freaky.
I wasn't on him.
I wasn't either.
Yeah, Channing
I love
Tatum.
him normally.
Well, I was flying home.
It's getting older like all of us. Well, not you, but me.
But I thought, you know, it was nice to sit on a plane and look at someone's bum running around.
Yeah. You watch weird movies on planes?
I don't go to the movies, but in real life, because I'm too agitated and I have too much to do. So my 15 hours from here to LA, I sit still. No one can contact me. No Facebook,
don't you love that?
No Twitter.
I got online once though. Have you ever had that free Wi-Fi on the plane?
I do, but they won't. Virgin won't do it.
It's a good thing. I don't think I want it either, because I do it and then I get all excited and talk to everyone. I'm on the plane.
Exactly.
What else was I going to ask you? Hang on, what were we just talking about? Because I wanted to ask
Magic
you.
Mike, the sessions, therapy.
I don't know what I was going to say. It was quite good to everybody.
You're like, what's your greatest tips?
Yes. Oh, what are your greatest tips?
Oh, I'm onto this whole bandwagon at the moment about letting go of a sexual pattern and connecting more mentally. So I find everyone has their kind of their pattern of, you know, we kiss, we have foreplay, penetration, ejaculation, sleep.
And that's the words all in a row, everyone.
But that's kind of the mold that what we think good sex is.
Yeah.
So one of the important things I started to learn is that good sex is so unique to every individual person, and you need to experience exactly what's in front of you. You can't think, okay, what do I do next? And there has to be an orgasm.
Live in the moment.
Exactly.
That's bringing it back to Jewelchic things.
There's much more about being connected with someone mentally. than worrying about specific skills. I mean, obviously there's an area for specific skills, but when you can connect with someone mentally, and the men out there too, connecting mentally doesn't necessarily have to mean commitment and marriage and babies.
I was going to say, but can you see, I've not had the one night stand thing or any of that sort of thing, everybody. You know, I got married at 23, it was all, you know, but how do you mentally connect with someone if, like, girls meet guys at bars these days and go home and shag them?
But I think you've got to put it in the context, you know. I'm not going to say that one night stands are wrong. I think that they have their place.
If you want to do them, do them.
Instant gratification, but I think for women out there who are, you know, into the one night stands, understand that it is instant, and you know, the sex might be good because it's exciting and it's new, and it's like, wow, I just did that because now we're living in this society where women are taking back their control and they can do things like this. So that's more of a thrill. But I think you've got to put in the context that sometimes we can connect with people, but we know deep down inside that they're not the right one. Because when we do have sex and when we do touch, we release things like oxytocin. So our bodies are feeling good and we've got all these sex hormones flowing. But you've got to be able to step back and say, well, I feel good, but is this the right person for me? And that's the important thing, is kind of stepping away from it, looking in the context and saying, it's great to have a nice experience with someone, it's great to test it out, but at the end of the day, just because you might have an orgasm with someone, it doesn't necessarily mean exactly.
Might be momentarily.
Can they do the dishes? Can they snuggle up with you? Can they be a good husband? So I think that's really important to look at, is look at the whole entire context and understand how our bodies work.
And so when you're a mum one day, you're not a mum now.
No.
So when you're a mum one day, how do you think you'll talk to your daughter, like, and at what age? Like, you said that you talk to your mum now about this. Did your mum talk to you about this stuff?
Not as openly. I mean, my mother was always open. She was the type of woman that talked to us about sex, that gave us condoms, that did all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So there was always a dialogue. She's 56.
Yes.
So
just a bit older than Paul. But 10 years older than me.
There was always a dialogue going on, but I think, you know, a lot of people have said to me, I feel sorry for your children because you're going to have to be one of those mothers.
Yeah, you will.
But I think it's good that to be able to, you know, that's going to be in their lives, so that they know that they can talk to me about it. And I think when we look at when we should talk to children, it's not a matter of talking to them about this in the beginning. It's introducing things that are age appropriate. So when children are young, make sure that they know the proper names to their bodies. You know, make sure they know the difference between what's a vulva, what's a vagina, what are boobs, what a penis. We don't want to start putting those, you know, negative words into play. Even though it might sound cute, we're actually telling them that that is something naughty and private and you're not allowed to say it.
How do you feel about the C word? See, I don't like the C word.
Well, I started reading a book and it is called See You Next Tuesday.
Oh yeah, I remember that. From school, everyone used to run around saying that to be stupid.
I was always really uncomfortable with it because...
I'm uncomfortable with that word.
Well, because it's used to, so violently.
Degradation,
to someone else.
I agree.
And this is a problem, even with words like slut. You know, there's this whole movement to reclaim it and make it a positive. But the problem is, well, there's things like slut walks and things like that. And there's people that are saying, you know, it's a sexually positive, empowered women. And they're trying to stop people from using it as a degrading term. But I think, you know...
I have to say, I think that one's home and hosed a degrading word. I don't reckon you can change that. I don't think anyone's ever going to be wanting to be called a slut.
I mean, the See You Next Tuesday book, it's actually a really good book. And it's all about vaginas and all about female sexual empowerment. But I was talking to someone in publishing last night and I said, the reality of it is, it's called what it's called. And, you know, it was very
interesting. Do you use it in your language?
No.
No, see,
it's one of those things. I like to stick to specific words, and I don't like to say it. And I started reading the book, and it was quite confronting because I was saying it in my head time and time again. And you can see sometimes when you start to say it in a neutral context, it does start to become a little bit more easier. But I think I'm one of how many people in this wide world. I'm not going to start running around dropping C-bombs.
I've got friends who just try to get me to say it. I'm not saying it. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it. And that, you know, they say, come on, let's do it. And I'm like, no.
But it's interesting in sexology, especially in the US where I studied, they will they will say it a lot in a medical context, and they will also refer to sex as the F word. And I still won't say that because it's like these are words that are grown up as being quite strong and crass.
What's true. It is for me too.
Why do we have to say it? Why can't we say sex? Why can't we say having sex? Making love.
I quite like shag.
I like rooting for sex. It's very strange because when I go over to the US and I say rooting, they're like,
what? Yes, Barrett for the team.
Exactly. They're like, what? I'm like, no, rooting.
Rooting.
So, you know, there's so many other words out there. Do we have to, you know? So, you know, I think language is a really important thing, especially for females, because there's so many words that describe our sexuality that are also used as daggers. So I think you as a female really need to make sure what you're saying. And when we look at, children, what you're actually saying to your children. What are you calling your body and what do they hear you say?
Exactly. That's
What's
very
the language
true.
that you use with your partner? Because their minds are like sponges.
Yeah.
And that's where they're going to pick up their sexual basis from. You know, what did my parents do? And I think that's even the thing when it comes to affection.
Yeah.
When you're in relationships, it's okay to hug and kiss because it's teaching them that this is what a loving couple does. Because you find these people that grow up and they're very uncomfortable being touched because that just wasn't done in front of them. And role modeling relationships is, who teaches you how to have a good relationship? It should be your parents.
Yeah. Isn't she great, everybody? Nikki's been on TV. All my American friends over there, if you're thinking, gee, she looks familiar, that's because she's been on every television show in America lately. I saw you on YouTube and stuff.
Americans are, it's a different audience. And I find that obviously, we've got so many major channels here and over there. There are so many other avenues and there are a lot of people talking about sex. And I think that we're getting there in Australia and we're,
It's funny because I always think America's a little bit more conservative because I lived there for a year and I thought that they were more conservative.
But there's pockets of, there is pockets of pockets. There are populations of people who are very right-wing, religious, conservative. But then when we look at, say we'll take the media as a whole, and there are a lot more shows out there, and I think talk shows work a lot better in the US as well. There's dialogue.
Yes, true, they do.
They
do work better over there, don't they?
There's a population of women who are a bit stronger and out there, and they want to know all this. I mean, women in Australia, I think, are just finding their voice, but we still need to be pushing that voice to the top of the mark where someone can actually say, well, this is what needs to be spoken about on TV. So
it's true.
We need to talk about more sex.
So go and see Nikki at Sexpo, everybody, this weekend.
I'm expecting you down there.
I was going to go, now I'm a bit scared. No, I wasn't really going to go.
I'll hold your hand and I'll walk around with a whip and I'll say, anybody you can't touch it.
So go and check out Nikki. You've got a website and everything.
I do.
I'll put all the links under here so you can find it. In fact, I might even have it flashing across the bottom as we speak and you can go like that.
And I'm a Twitter person too.
Oh,
I love
you might get
Twitter.
some sex talk. Do you do sexy little things
on
every
Twitter?
now and then? Yeah.
On Twitter or
on Twitter.
Yeah, I find Twitter's probably the one thing I can be a little bit more honest about. Well, you can, and it's real time. I find Facebook, people can like and unlike you.
Yeah.
So you can put something up there and it might push someone's button.
Yeah.
But Twitter
I'll probably lose half a dozen.
But then you might gain a whole lot.
Yeah, I know. And
really
it'll be really interesting to see the crowd that comes to this video.
When I did Playboy Radio in the US, I lost 500 followers that night. And I thought that was so interesting because I got a little bit of a slack about doing it because
were you just talking like this or were you talking
about... I was just talking. It was an interview about myself and the profession and it was a raunchy show, but it was a female and we managed to talk about it on an educated level as well. But there were a lot of people that kind of gave me a bit of a...
How interesting.
Which was fascinating for me because it just goes to show where people's mindsets are at.
We haven't talked about
anything for Playboy.
No, I don't at all because I think if people want to do that and they consent to do it, I don't, that's their thing. It's not my business if people want to do that. Would I want Zoe to do it? No. But it's their business.
But for me, it was, there was another avenue and there were, this one show had 700 million subscribers. So when you're looking at trying to make change and say things that people will hear, when someone says to you, here are 700 million people that you can talk to, as a sexologist, your ears prick because you can say, well, if I start sending my messages out there, that's a big audience. So regardless of whether it was Playboy or not, I mean, I always have my boundaries about where I can take an interview and what I'm happy to answer. But for me, it was like, well, this is something that would be so amazing to do. And it's a new audience.
Interesting. Exactly. So hello, new audience members, if you've made it through the 20 minutes. Bye. Have a great week.
Bye.
Hang on, I can crack that whip.
I thought you were going to do that. Now, you don't
Everybody, we've got some exciting news. Look what we just found.
A little blindfold, a little feather tickler. So if you've got a funny 50 Shades of Grey story, whether you're reading the book and someone caught you or you were tying your partner up and got them stuck in some knot, post your story or share your story and you can win your blindfold and your little feather tickler. And
I'll announce it in maybe 3 weeks on my Facebook page.
And this is not for dusting.
No.
But it could double up.
Now, is that a blindfold or is that
it's a blindfold
restraint?
And it's also a sleeping mask.
Okay, lovely. Okay, so put your stories underneath.